As an autistic person, have you ever thought about the impact of good and bad bacteria and how it affects your mood and how it affects your triggers? Well, today, this is what I'm going to be talking about: how microbes affect our mood and can cause possible triggers and cause your symptoms of autism to either get better or get worse. So, welcome back to my channel. In today's presentation, I'm going to be diving into the intriguing area autism research, the link between gut bacteria and autism. Living with autism can be challenging, but what if microorganisms in your gut played a role in the development and progression of the disorder? We'll examine the latest research on gut bacteria and autism and the connections between the two, including a study that discovered significant changes in the microbial community structures of individuals with autism. Additionally, we'll explore potential interventions such as probiotics and how these findings may shape our understandings for autism. So, autism influences gut bacteria, but also influences social and behavioral capabilities. And emerging research suggests that the gut bacteria, which is the array of microorganisms inhabiting the gut, may be implicated in gastrointestinal issues commonly experienced by individuals with autism. One study investigated the collection of microbes in a collection of individuals experiencing autism and discovered a distinct microbial community structure fairly unique to the people with autism. The researchers identified an increase in, I'm going to be giving you a whole bunch of names of stuff that's very hard to pronounce. These are different types of bacteria. So the research identified an increase of bacteria called Firmicutes and a decrease in a bacteria called Bacteroidetes. Two types of gut bacteria have been noted to have alterations in relative abundance of different types of bacteria, including all stepes, bilophila, diester, uh, parabacteroides, Valenoia, Collinsella, Bacterium, Derora, and Lactobacillus. You probably heard of Lactobacillus, just like Lactobacillus acidophilus. That's a probiotic. In constipated individuals with autism, the study revealed elevated level of bacteria from it's relative of E. coli. It's called Escherichia. I can't even pronounce this, but I'll put it in the descriptions. Another one called Shigella, and another one called Colostrum. Uh, and that one is related to, if anybody's heard of C. diff, like I talked about earlier. So C. diff can cause acid reflux. C. diff can cause ulcers, and but they're just talking about because there's a lot of relatives of this C type of bacteria. So also it says, moreover, a higher relative abundance of a fungus called Candida has been observed in individuals with autism. So Candida is something that a lot of people have heard of. A lot of people who have had yeast infections. Candida is the typical fungus that causes yeast infections. But what they're saying is that people with autism may have an increase of candida as well. So you may have, if you're autistic, you may have yeast infections, and that isn't just for ladies, because you can also get what's called thrush, which is candida yeast infection of your mouth, and tongue can be coated white. And then if you're experiencing a lot of mouth problems, you might want to look into taking a probiotic or seeing your doctor and getting that checked out. So these results indicate that an imbalance in the microbial community structure, which is also called dysbiosis, may contribute to gastrointestinal symptoms in individuals with autism. Probiotics, which help regulate the communities of bacteria, the good bacteria, and also help kill off the bad bacteria, um, alongside applied behavioral analysis for children with autism. The gut brain axis, which is a communication channel between the gut microbia, the collection of bacteria in your gastrointestinal tract, and running up as nerves, including your vagus nerve, all throughout all your organs and all the way up to the base of your brain. And for the you yoga people, the vagus nerve may also be a scientific reason why in yoga a lot of people study the chakras, and it might be a literal nerve that actually is what the chakras are when they talk about in yoga. So the gut brain axis, which is the communication structure, bundles of nerves going from the gastrointestinal tract up into the brain, has been a focal point in autism research. So the imbalance in the microbial structures of your gastrointestinal tract has also been associated with the alterations in the gut-brain axis, potentially contributing to social and behavioral challenges faced by individuals with autism. So, to summarize everything, the gut microbes may be involved in the development and progression of autism. The the basically the when your gut microbes are unbalanced and you have too much of the bad stuff and not enough of the good stuff, could be linked to gastrointestinal symptoms and changes in the gut brain axis, potentially affecting social and behavioral abilities. Probiotics and other interventions that regulate the community of microbes could offer potential therapies for autism. More research is needed to fully comprehend the relationship between the microbia and autism, because one of the things several years ago was that a lot of these natural companies out there that are producing a lot of the probiotics, they were thinking that they could just come up with a probiotic drug alternative that would be a natural biological alternative to a drug, and it would solve everything. But it's more complicated than that. You can think of your gastrointestinal tract and all of the microbes living in it as a forest and all the animals of the forest. For each forest, there's different animals living and also different plant species living in that forest. That forest could be sick and dying and ready to burn up, or it could be lush and living well, and the animals can be living well within it, and everything could be balanced, just like your gastrointestinal tract. So if you're feeling sick, if you're feeling ill, if you get bloated after you eat, if you have problems with constipation and diarrhea, you may be having problems with an imbalance of the probiotics and the fighting off the bad bacteria. There's also a lot of fungi, a lot of funguses that we're just beginning to understand. We were talking about candida, which is something that's fairly known about, and so there can be a lot of imbalances. So taking a probiotic may help, but it may not be the end all be all, because you need to look at the food that you're eating. You need to eat proper amounts of fiber. You need to eat a lot of micronutrients. You need to eat a whole bunch of vegetables. You want to add each and every color that you can find in the spectrum in your grocery store, in the produce aisle, and you want to eat an abundant amount of that. You want to cut back on the sugars, because sugars tend to feed the bad bacteria, and the fiber tends to feed the good bacteria. And so um, these are simple things that can be complicated, because life is a lot more complicated than we can just simply put together as a diet plan or a live it plan. So, with that, I'm going to leave it at that. So, this has been Dan. This is Finding Your Hidden Superpower. Bottom line is, if you're not feeling well and you're not eating well and you're not getting a right amount of rest, you're not going to be able to find your superpowers, and you're going to be triggered easily. And they're going to, if you're old like me and you work for a living, you may have difficulties at work. You may have difficulties in your friendships. You may have difficulties in your romantic relationships. So number one thing to start looking at is, what are you eating and how are you sleeping? And if you're not eating correctly, you need to just make a small shift gently and see if that small shift works, and just figure it out. You didn't get here overnight, and you can't get cured within overnight. So you want to speak with your doctor. You want to look into getting a nutritionist or a dietitian. You want to watch all the YouTube videos you can, not just mine, but everybody's, about what you can change in your diet and how you can be eating better and taking care of yourself better. Because if you can't take care of yourself, nobody will be around to take care of you. So have a good day, have a good night, and I'll catch you on the other side.